pint, just $3.99, saving you $3. Hellman's mayonnaise, hot price just $5.99 for a 30-ounce jar. General Mills Cheerios cereal, only $5.49 for a 12-ounce box. Save $2.66 on Ocean Spray Cranberry Juice, only $4.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. Visit our website at www.marketplace.bm for more weekly specials.
You can count on us.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Thursday, February 21st. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for joining us. A key committee within the British Parliament has recommended that all British nationals legally resident in the overseas territories be given the right to vote and the right to run for political office. The radical recommendation is just one of many suggestions for the UK government to follow in a 44-page document analysing the future relationship between the UK and its territories. Try Trot read through the document.
The recommendations come from the UK Foreign Affairs Committee, the FAC, which is a bipartisan committee within the British House of Commons meant to scrutinise the work of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, the FCO, which is a department of the UK government. Contrary to reports overnight, the 44-page document was not authored by the FCO, but authored by the FAC, which recently concluded a public consultation with the territories on the FCO's future relationship with the territories. The document is titled Global Britain and the British Overseas Territories, Resetting the Relationship, and makes some controversial recommendations for the future. One of them is same-sex marriage. The committee highlighted the lack of same-sex marriage rights in some of the territories, especially in the Caribbean. Page 25 of the document states, this means not only that same-sex couples cannot marry, it can also lead to restrictions on the ability of the OT citizens to bring their same-sex spouse to live permanently in the territory, even if the couple was legally married outside of the territory. The report notes that gay marriage is problematic across the Caribbean and notes it is divergent from the UK policy and approach in general. There are heated discussions, but there are certain actors within overseas territory societies and the Caribbean more generally, including church groups who have fought and are fighting very strongly against any change to legislation. The committee mentions leaders of various Caribbean territories, including Montserrat and Anguilla, in which gay marriage is not yet legal, and quotes their reasons for gay marriage not being legal due to largely cultural reasons. Ultimately, the committee rejected the resistance of the overseas territories to same-sex marriage and recommends that the FCO force the territories to legalize same-sex marriage, stating the UK government must be prepared to step in, as it did in 2001 when the UK government used an order in council to impose a decriminalization of homosexuality upon them after they failed to do so on their own. Experts believe the FAC's concern over a lack of same-sex marriage should not affect Bermuda, where gay marriage is already legal, thanks to rulings from the courts. The Bermuda government was appealing the rulings as of last check. Another recommendation of the FAC, perhaps the most radical of all, is a recommendation for citizenship rights for UK and overseas territory citizens who are legally resident in Bermuda. The FAC notes testimony from Lord Tariq Ahmad, the Minister for the Overseas Territories, who warns that belongership status was an issue the territories felt strongly about and that the matter should be left to the territories to decide. Despite the warning, the committee recommends that the UK government push the territories towards giving legally resident UK or British Overseas Territory citizens the right to vote and a right to run for elected office. The committee found that belongership and its equivalents are, quote, wrong, and states, while we recognize that the OTs are small communities with unique cultural identities, we do not accept that there is any justification to deny legally resident British Overseas Territory and UK citizens the right to vote and to hold elected office. It's not clear whether or not the current Conservative-led government would even implement this recommendation, given it has previously stated that belongership status was a matter for the territories. Tarai Trott reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Premier David Burt, in response to that report, stated the government of Bermuda is reviewing the report and will be ready to address any issues that may arise. Separately, we are focused on preparing Bermuda for what may emerge as a result of Brexit, a situation which can best be described as evolving daily. The Premier observed that Bermuda's position on the adoption of a public register of beneficial ownership has been consistent over several years and reiterated that, quote, Bermuda is committed to meeting any properly adopted global global standard for such matters and will work with the UK government as necessary once such a global standard is agreed. On the issue of same-sex marriage, the Premier noted that this matter was currently before the courts, and as such, no further comment could be made at this time. The Premier continued, the right to vote is perhaps the most highly valued right in a democracy. To suggest that non-Bermudians should have the right to determine the direction of our country via the ballot box ignores the history of voting rights in Bermuda and is a tone-deaf recommendation which we will strenuously resist. And a special programming note now, if you plan to follow the budget tomorrow, stick with us here at Bermuda Broadcasting. We'll have live coverage on TV and radio and updates throughout the day on social media. Gary Moreno will kick things off with a live pre-budget show from the House of Assembly starting at 9:15 a.m. sharp. Simulcast here on ZBM TV 9 and Ocean 89 FM radio. At 10 a.m., when Finance Minister Curtis Dickinson is due to start his budget speech, our sister radio station Inspire 105 will carry full live coverage, also simulcast here on ZBM TV 9. Once the speech is over, Gary Moreno and I will capture live reaction at the House, again on ZBM TV 9. That's live coverage of the budget 2019 starting at 9:15 a.m. tomorrow here on ZBM TV 9 and Ocean 89. That's tomorrow, but tonight our pre-budget coverage kicks off at 8 o'clock with the return of The Breakdown with Tony Waterman. The show takes a look at the state of the economy as we close in on the release of the budget 2019. Here's a tease.
Bermudians as savers underappreciate the investment opportunities. Since the dismantlement of exchange control, I would argue that there's been too much leaving, and other jurisdictions have in fact put into place restrictions on the outflow. Prior to the dismantlement of exchange control, you would pay an overseas investment tax of 10%. In this present environment, with the ability of Bermuda residents to amass a serious stockpile of savings, I don't think it would be untoward for the policymakers, the BMA and or the government, to more than suggest, but to put into place regulations that would limit the amount that can go off island on new savings. Now, I'm not talking about maintaining 80% of the stuff on island, but
does that drive away other businesses though that might be looking to do business here in Bermuda?
I'm not in favor of that at all.
I know, Nathan.
I do not agree with anything on the concept of exchange controls or restricting the free flow of money. I think if you have the opportunities here, it will come. The money will come. We have had new hotels being built. There is opportunity here. As soon as you kind of even hint at that, I think there's a risk that you really restrict any foreign investment in the country because they're afraid about getting the money out.
You can catch that full interview on The Breakdown tonight at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9. We'll have more for you after this short break, including all the latest weather news. Stay with us.
The Bermuda Olympic Association's Women in Sport Committee invites you to be the champion of your life. A banquet and expo on March 8th and 9th at the Fairmont Hamilton Princess. In celebration of International Women's Day, our illustrious banquet keynote speakers are U.S. Olympians Hazel Clark and Gerald Miles Clark, while a panel of some of Bermuda's top female athletes, past and present, will be featured at the expo. Join us in encouraging girls and women to be the champions of their lives. For more information, visit olympics.bm.
Take a test drive today at Ultimate Motors.
You can count on us.
Potatoes, all varieties, $3.99 for a 5-pound bag. Fresh ground beef, all size packages, just $2.99 per pound, saving $1.
Hot price on old-time 100% whole wheat bread, only $3.99 for a loaf.
Select varieties of Arm & Hammer laundry detergent, just $9.99 for a 75-ounce bottle. Huggies pull-ups, all sizes for boys and girls, only $14.99. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Hey Bermuda, this is Dr. Anita Phillips, and I just got to say I am so excited. I'm headed your way Impact Bermuda 2019 conference starts Friday night, and I will be there. We're going to be talking about faith and mental health and answering questions. What does mental health mean to us as people of God? What does mental health mean to us as people of color? How do we blend all of that together to break the glass ceilings in our lives and walk directly into the purpose that God has made us for and called us to?
Thanks for staying with us. The Public Works Minister's decision to allow an ATV tour company to operate in the West End has been quashed by the Chief Justice of Bermuda. Nerinda Hargan, in a written judgment, said Public Works Minister Colonel David Birch assumed that planning permission was not required in granting the approval for this ATV proposal, equating to an error in law. Chief Justice Nerinda Hargan has quashed the minister's decision announced on March 16, 2018 in relation to Mr. Rudolph Buddy Hollis's business proposal to operate ATV tours. The public rejected the introduction of a new tour guide company with access to national parks in the Railway Trail, Hog Bay Park, and Fort Scour area in Sands during a consultation period in November 2017. Out of 628 valid responses, 2 were in favor and 626 against. Despite this, the minister approved a license to use vehicles on government property for a trial period of 1 year to Mr. Hollis's tour company. The Bermuda National Trust joined the legal action as an interested party and welcomes the justice's ruling.
Although they were supposed to be driven at relatively slow speeds, the risk of what they would do to, particularly to the trails which were not paved and were open and delicate, would be quite something. And one of the major issues here is that nobody really knows what the effect will be. Had the government made an application to planning, because it's a change of use to the parks, which are government property, had they made that application, then it is likely that the Development Applications Board would have required an environmental impact assessment to be done on the proposal.
Mr. Zuhl says the trust encourages ecotourism in Bermuda.
You don't want to conduct eco tours that may, actually have the effect of damaging the very environment that we're introducing to our public, promoting to our visitors. And our concern here is that this proposal has the potential to do that. I think that the two Mr. Hollises who have put this forward have the very best of intentions and are passionate about the environment as we are. But we just feel that the approach that they've taken in this case isn't the right one.
The trust has raised further questions on the use of ministerial powers when it comes to environmental issues.
There was a public consultation that was the response to which was overwhelmingly opposed to the project, something like 99.7%, and the minister obviously considered that, but then also decided to proceed and grant the license. The Chief Justice did uphold the minister on that point. He felt that on the basis that as long as the minister has considered something, the decision he makes, it's not for the court to tell the minister that it's the wrong one. We still have a general concern in environmental matters that ministerial discretion tends to be too broad.
We were unable to reach the owner of the ATV company, Mr. Hollis, by news time. Public Works Minister Colonel David Birch responded to a request for comment, stating, quote, "I have no comment on the matter at this time," end quote. The Minister of Public Works, Colonel David Birch, eased any fears today that residents in Devonshire, Smith, and Hamilton Parish will be without water for 4 days a week beginning next week Tuesday as repair work is carried out. Mike Sharp reports.
The minister said there is a national plan to replace main water lines for a couple of months.
3 months, first of all, of work from here where we are in Fort Prospect to Down Middle Road to Watlington Road. We have to replace the infrastructure. It's an aged infrastructure. Everybody on this service has top-up service, so it's identical to Watlington. You have a tank in your house, and with all the rain we've had, I doubt that we're going to have many people who are going to be looking for top-up from this service. And so what we are attempting to do is to replace the infrastructure. This is just a small portion of a wider island-wide program, but this is critical because we currently are experiencing a leak that we don't know where it is, so we're trying to fix it.
The main point is that everyone can use the water in their tank. But if it runs low, the piped water line will be off from Tuesday to Fridays and may require a water truck for a top-up.
So every client that is attached to this line in the area in which we are doing the repairs over the next 3 months will not be without water. They have a tank at their house. They use this service in order to top up their tank when it goes low. And with all the rain we had, I doubt that many of them are going to have to do that. If in fact they do still need service, they can call a water trucker. And so they pay for this water already. So this is not affecting people in Alexandria Road. This is not affecting anybody in Prospect itself. It's going from the plant here in Fort Prospect down Middle Road to Watlington Road.
So essentially, they will still have water.
Yes, they will still have water, and so I think in the initial announcement, the fact that it is a top-up service may have been lost in the whole conversation, and so because of the length of time, people thought I'm going to be without water. They are not.
And I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Weather now, let's check in with our friends over at the AccuWeather headquarters for the latest.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
Good evening. I'm your AccuWeather meteorologist, Dajia Swad, and this forecast is brought to you by the BF&M Insurance Group. As we head across the Atlantic, definitely noticing windy conditions currently. Winds will continue to stay a bit steady here tonight as we watch an approach of a cold front. To our north is where we have a better chance for some showers currently. Here to look at your simulated radar. Showers once again to the north, starting to try to sneak in across Bermuda. But what we'll see tonight mostly is cloudy skies. Best chance for precipitation will be into tomorrow morning. Currently sitting in the 60s, upper 60s, and towards St. George's, Somerset Village, as well as into Hamilton. Humidity around 77%. Winds out of the west, 15 to 20 knots. Waves in 1 to 3 feet, waves out running 4 to 8 feet. Yeah, we're talking about some choppy waters as this front approaches. As we talk about your tide times, our next high tide is going to be at 10:05 p.m. tonight, followed by a low tide at 4:23 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then another high tide at 10:27 a.m. on your Friday, followed by a low tide at 4:47 p.m. on your Friday. Now, we do have a small craft warning through the rest of tonight into your Friday, and that will continue once again to keep us aware that the conditions are a bit rough. Mainly cloudy skies tonight with a low 65 as that low continues, as that front continues to approach. We'll be watching for spotty shower activity to pick on up. Here's a look at the Futurecast Thursday, 8 p.m. Moisture, the bulk of it going to be sitting towards our north. We're getting the tail end of this boundary, so by the time it makes its way in towards Bermuda around 6 a.m., going to be just some spotty activity to start, and then a better chance for some more frequent showers as you head into the 6 o'clock hour. That front will continue to press its way out towards the south, getting in the cloudy region, but a more northerly flow for tomorrow. A high of 70 and a low of 59. Once again, passing showers most likely in the morning, and then clouds and sun interchanging. As we take you across the Caribbean, looking at some activity across Jamaica, spotty in nature with a high of 87, low of 74. Trinidad also topping off in the upper 80s with a low of 71, and going to be looking at clouds and shower potential into the coming days. Now, if you plan to take a trip to Toronto, you need the jacket. 36 with a low 22 for your Friday, and looking at more clouds and sun. New York mainly sunny with a high of 44 and a low of 32. We'll be calling for rainy conditions across Atlanta and much of the southeast. Some shower activity into Miami, but holding on to the warmth, the high of 86 in London, in the upper 50s for the getaway forecast. Now, moving into our extended forecast, once again, tomorrow, best chance for rain will be in the morning. Showers, rather, will be in the morning. Saturday, we dry on out and then watch an approach of another front on Sunday.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
I was diagnosed with illness. Very frightening because my son had just turned 1 and it was a cancer. So I'm young, new baby, and I needed to get the care that I knew would be definitive so that I wanted to be around for him for a very long time. I got in contact with BF&M, and BF&M was able to commit at that time to doing at least 50%, so we were comfortable, okay, well, we're gonna go. We got off the plane, actually, the day of the procedure, and on my way to the limo, my case manager called and she says, Kiana, we got it, you're covered at 100%. And I cried all the way to the office because I was just so happy. The BF&M difference is that I really felt that the case manager really was concerned about my overall care. And because of that, I really appreciated them. I think that personal care, that willingness to listen, and then to work until they were able to get it so that I could get full coverage really made the difference for me.
In tourism news, the top brass from the Chamber of Commerce, the Bermuda Hotel Association, Ministry of Tourism, and the Bermuda Tourism Authority gathered to discuss the future plans for the industry yesterday at BUEI. The BTA's Director of Strategy and Corporate Communications, Glenn Jones, said it was all about maintaining success this year and prioritizing year one of the national plan.
Well, the objective of the forum was sort of twofold. Firstly, it was to talk about how we maintain success in 2019 after 3 years of really strong growth. As you know, the better you do, the harder it is to improve on each year that has passed. So a lot of the conversation was about that issue. And then the second objective was to make sure we're progressing the strategies of the National Tourism Plan in year one of what is a 6-year plan. So that means we need to make some priorities, decide what we're going to tackle in 2019 so that we don't take our eye off the ball, making sure that 2019 is still a successful year from an industry performance point of view. So as you mentioned, we have those panelists there who helped us through that conversation. We talked about airlift, which is an important ingredient. We talked about the cruise calls that are expected for this year, and all the things that we hope our stakeholders could get accomplished this year to keep us on plan with the National Tourism Plan so that when we get to 2025, we have accomplished everything we set out to do.
Glenn Jones there from the BTA speaking with our Mike Sharp. Still to come, Earl Basin will have all the latest sports news in just a few minutes.
We provide education, early detection, radiation treatment, and support for cancer to all.
We provide in-home care, financial assistance, and emotional support to cancer patients and their families.
We provide financial support and enhanced quality of life for patients and their families in hospice care.
We will.
We will.
We will.
At the Bermuda Festival, Broadway comes to the stage on March 1st and 2nd. The hilarious Broadway's next hit musical is an unscripted theatrical show. Master improvisers gather hit song suggestions from the audience and create a spontaneous evening of music, humor, and laughter. Every song is fresh. Every scene is new. Every night is different. It's all improvised. It's all funny, and it's perfect family entertainment. For tickets, visit ptix or bermudafestival.org. Celebrating the empowerment of women. She is art. 44th Annual Bermuda Festival.
Michaela, and this is Taking Off, calling all kite designers. Skyport and Aecon are hosting a kite design competition and are looking for the best Bermudian designs. The competition is broken up into 3 categories, up to 12 years old, 13 to 18, and 19 and up. 2 winners will be chosen for the first category, 3 for the second, and 5 for the last. And the winning designs will be displayed in the new passenger terminal building at the LF Wade International Airport. There is no limit to how many colors can be used in the design. We are looking for the most imaginative, interesting kite designs. And while we encourage creativity, there are a few rules. No words, no political references, and no human likeness in the design. The deadline to submit designs is March 31st. To submit an electronic copy of your design, please email kitedesign@aecon.com. Hard copies can be delivered to OBM International to the attention of Colin Campbell. Actual kites will not be accepted as entries. Winners will be announced the week of April 15th. We can't wait to see your awesome entries. See you next time.
Sport now, and youngster Daniel Phillips bows out of the Rafa Nadal Tour tournament in Spain. The Dailies take the 2019 Ontario Winter Festival Swimming Championships in Canada by storm. And 2 athletes meet the Carifta Games standard, but their age rules them out of this year's event. Earl Basin has the details in tonight's Sports Report.
Daniel Phillips has bowed out of the Rafa Nadal Tour tournament going on in Spain. Phillips would take on number 14th ranked Alex Leon Izagirdo from Spain, and he would fall in straight sets. Phillips would go down in the first set 6-2. He would then fall 6-3 in the second set. Elon and Elijah Daly took the 2019 Ontario Winter Festival Swimming Championships by storm. The Dalys on day one would break 5 Bermuda short course records and collected 6 medals in total. During the girls' 13-year-old 50-meter freestyle, Elon Daly would win the gold medal, touching the wall in a time of 25:69, breaking Madeline Moore's record time of 26:12. She set back on March 19, 2015, during the Schroeder's Spring Age Group Championships. Elon Daly would then win the girls' 13-year-old 200-meter freestyle gold medal, clocking a time of 2:02:08. This time would break the time of 2:07:07 set by Logan Watson Brown on March 18, 2018, during the Best of the Best Age Group Championships. Elon Daly would lead off the Ettenbrook Swim Club 12-13 girls 200-meter freestyle relay team that would clock a gold medal time of 1:50:82. Elijah Daly would start off by winning the boys' 12-year-olds 100-meter backstroke gold medal with a winning time of 1:06:98. This would break his brother Ethan Daly's time of 1:08:82, which was set back on March 18, 2004 in Canada. Finishing with a bronze medal in the boys' 12-year-old 200-meter freestyle with a time of 2:08:77 saw Elijah Daly break Jesse Washington's record time of 2:11:46, set back on December 4, 2011 at the Bassa Pool. 2 Bermuda athletes have met the Carifta Games standard, but they are too young to attend this year's event in Cayman Islands. Over the weekend, during the Armory meet in New York, Daria Desmond and Adriana Argent have both met the under-17 girls 3,000-meter standard. During the 11-12 girls 3,000-meter race in New York, Desmond would pick up the silver medal with a time of 11:02:69, while the bronze medal went to Argent, who was clocked at 11:11:74. The Carifta Games standard for the under-17 girls 3,000-meter race is 11:15 flat. The Bermuda Basketball Association's Winter League season continued inside the Bermuda College Gymnasium last evening with a doubleheader that produced 195 points. Game 1 saw the Pembroke Skyforce defeat the Hamilton Parish Rockets 60-46. Gershon Kurt would lead the Pembroke Skyforce with a double-double. He scored 23 points and he had 17 rebounds. He would also have 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block shot, while Omar Wolf led the Hamilton Parish Rockets with 15 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. In Game 2, the Devonshire Chargers would defeat the Smith Court Kings 53-36. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
At Argus, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when 2 people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs. For their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual, so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
Hey Smokey, let's get lunch from the Marketplace Food Court. You know what? That sounds good. They have oxtails, pumpkin, curried lamb, lemon chicken, sweet and sour ribs, vegetable stir fry, and the variety goes on.
Their chefs are good. They'll set you right up with all the good carbons.
And don't forget the special dishes from the island.
It doesn't matter. No matter what you feel like eating, Marketplace will have it.
You know, it's quick, it's quality, and at prices you can count on.
Visit us 7 days a week. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Made for you daily at the Hamilton Marketplace Food Court.
I'm Tony Waterman. Coming up on The Breakdown this week, the state of the economy. We take a deep dive into the data to see what's working and what's not, hours before the release of the 2019 budget. And as we count down to the release of that budget, one small business owner tells us what's keeping him up at night.
We're kind of operating with the looming shadow of taxation.
Plus, you know and love Bermuda, but for many overseas, it's not even on their radar.
You know where it is? Out in the water.
A look at how social media could boost the Bermuda brand. That's Thursday at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9.
That's our program for tonight. Thank you once again for tuning in. We hope to see you here tomorrow at the same time for full budget coverage and more. I'm Jasmine Patterson. Good night.
Jasmine Patterson's wardrobe and makeup is provided by Gibbons Company.